Welcome, everybody, to the CISO series. The topic is hacking AWS, how to assess the risks of AWS configurations.
You do an assessment of any company that's using AWS, many are going to say, well, we're secure, we use AWS, and that they call it a day. They don't want to fill out maybe their own questionnaire. It's a nightmare for a practitioner to really understand what's going on.
If you look at the full-blown bits, you know that it can take a really long time to go through that entire questionnaire. Basically, we said, what are the kind of high value questions that you can ask a third party? You know, these are my vendors that I feel like are doing pretty not bad, and these down here, oh, these are the ones I'm really worried about.
There's a lot of practitioners that frankly don't understand, especially third-party risk practitioners. They're not going to be AWS experts. A lot of them are auditors and compliance folks and security folks that just don't have that background.
Sometimes security isn't always a competitive edge, but when you're dealing with, you know, critical security relevant data for enterprise customers, security absolutely is a competitive edge.
If the person isn't all that familiar, they don't know where to go. And
Right.
it's the same in anything. It could be a Windows configuration that they don't know where to get it. You have a learning curve. When we worked with Trevor, we had them build out very specific walk through the path exactly to get to where you need for the setting.
Hey, here's a question that came in from David Lagasse. How does the AWS assessment toolkit compare to other tools from, say, the Cloud Security Alliance?
This was meant to be a lot more performant from a vendor management standpoint. It really allows you to get to the heart of it without having to take a complete deep dive into every one of them.
Starting from scratch, the biggest factor is, do you have a good vendor management department? If you have vendor management at all, if you have no vendor management, it's an ongoing cycle of pain.
This comes in from Cody. How frequently do you find that AWS will agree to customer pen tests of vendor environments?
As a pen test company, they recently changed the rules. I believe you don't have to ask permission anymore. We found even prior to them changing the rules that it really comes down to packets per second. So if you're doing things that aren't, like really large, fast port scans, nobody will probably even notice, to be honest with you.
I was a part of an organization once that spent $14 billion on a purchase, and when we brought them on, we realized that when auto finance needed a new website, they went to Bluehost.com and spent $4 a month and branded it. I know a lot of colleagues and stuff where they say, yeah, I have people that are just swiping the corporate card and creating their own thing and no one knows about it.
Sure. So, I mean, you'll see that not only with somebody making a low volume purchase at first, or they're using free services like Dropbox and Google and all these guys. That's an easy way for Shadow IT to kind of creep up.
If you have an organization that allows access to SurveyMonkey, people can go out and sign up for an individual account, not a corporate license, and collect PII, PHI, whatever they want to collect from your customers. And if you actually go to SurveyMonkey and try to do an assessment of them, they'll tell you that you have no legal right to that data. It's an agreement between SurveyMonkey and the individual employee. I can't even see what they've collected because it's an agreement between the individual, even though they used my company's email to sign up and register the account under, you have no legal right to it.
We use SurveyMonkey, but not for collecting anything PII. And we've actually had the CISO for SurveyMonkey on our show before, Brent Williams. There he is. Oh, my God. He just chatted. He's in our chat right now. All right, Brent, geez.
Brent,
talk about ears burning, and there you are.
We're all in the same game together, right? And we have this conversation frequently with security leaders from companies. Legally, it's a difficult situation because we have to respect the contract with the individual while we understand your concerns from a business. And we continue to work with security leaders to find a path forward to getting those accounts moved over to your ownership.
Yep, couldn't agree more. It's a liability to you guys to have data that you weren't expecting to have. We worked with the SurveyMonkey staff and kind of identify who all those users were, and then we did the mask. Hey, you're on the naughty list.
That brings us now to the best bad idea game. AWS is self-serve, so we can let all the infrastructure and cyber people go. Why is that a good idea?
Well, if I was on the business side, it says one hell of a cost savings. You think about getting rid of password resets. If you just do it all self-serve, then there's less help desk calls, so everything gets done faster.
As a consultant, when the organization gets breached, I really look forward to the phone call.
Just turn off all AWS.
You're going to save a lot on storage. I suppose that if you get breached and you go to, and the lawyers come to you and they say, hey, we need to be able to tell customers if we have any evidence that their data was exfiltrated, you could say, we don't have any evidence of that.
I'm throwing another bad idea out at you guys. You create a forward rule for your AWS bill and it gets emailed to someone you hate, and you would completely ignore it until the CFO comes knocking. Why is that a great idea?
Well, it's always good to have somebody else pay the bill.
I suppose if that happened enough, you could condition them to accept it and expect it.
So I want to give the credit right now to Ross Young and give him the following. That is the winner award for Ross Young, because Ross actually has the best answer for the last bad idea. If someone always got the bill, they have no reason to say why they didn't object to your increasing spending costs. So that's why you want to send it to the person you don't like.
There is this kind of black hole in third-party risk. You have questionnaires, you have tools like Risk Recon that can do continuous monitoring, look at stuff from the outside looking in. Post-authentication, it's really tough to get that sort of information.
If you're a third-party practitioner, it would behoove you to become intimately familiar with what the various services are. And there are two kind of fields that kind of continually change. There's new services and there's new features that Amazon is continuing to roll out. And as your vendors adopt and start leveraging those, it really helps if you are fluent in that language.
Thank you, everybody.